Hello, my name is Jason Leahy, Executive Director of the Illinois Principals Association. Thanks for joining me for this IPA talk. Grateful to have with me Jen Carter, who is our Assistant Principal of the Year this year as AP at Riverton Elementary. So, Jen, just grateful for you being here with me.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
All right. Well, let's just get into it, Jen. One of the things, as I'm talking with our principals of the year this year and try to do at any time that I have, leaders such as yourself. Always curious about what your story is, what's got you into this position, how long you've been here, all that good stuff. But just anything you'd like to share related to that.
Okay. Well, I wanted to become a teacher because my mother was a paraprofessional at SASED Central, which is our special ed co-op here in our area.
Which is Sangamon
Um,
County, by the way, just so people
yes,
know. Yep,
yes,
right
thank you.
around Springfield. You bet.
And she had some wild stories that I just thought were really interesting. And it sounded like her coworkers were awesome. It sounded like a fun place to work. And she had some stories for me, and I'm surprised it didn't scare me off, but I was intrigued. So, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I thought this is terrible to say. I should have a better answer, but I was like, I'd love to teach little kids. We can sing songs and play and have summers off, and that's really where I was at in my mindset. I didn't know what else I wanted to do, so um, I hopped in with a cohort through Eastern with that teamed up with SASED, and so I actually went to school at SASED Central, and then later, as the cohort went on, we would attend classes at EIU or in Richland or whatever, and so we made it through. In a couple years, got my bachelor's, and I student taught at Riverton Middle School in 8th grade, which was not what I had in mind. If you are following my mindset here with singing songs and
Right.
having summers off.
Well, and middle schoolers, present their own kind of unique issues with a
Yes, they
couple
did.
of them in my house right now. I surely understand that.
Yeah, so needless to say, I was not prepared for student teaching 8th grade. I just didn't think about teaching older kids at all, but it was a really good experience. They conned me into coaching cheerleading as well. So it was a very unique student teaching experience. I think they were like, hey, young lady, would you mind doing this? And we'll think about giving you a job afterwards. And I said, absolutely. So that was a say yes moment. I said yes, and it paid off. So I did student teach and coach
Wow.
with my first experience in a school. I know I would recommend that for teachers
Yeah,
now.
that's like jumping right in with both
It
feet.
was, it was, but it was a long time ago too. Things were different, and it was hard. Don't get me wrong; it was difficult, and we had to learn to manage time and do all of the
Right.
things. But it was good for me, and so we made it through. I student taught 8th grade, and they ended up hiring me to finish out the year. My
Mhm.
supervising teacher was, as she was supervising me, she was also subbing, and how we are all playing, wearing all of the hats and doing all of the things at once. So they utilized her to stay in a room that she was helping with while I was taking over the 8th grade room, and I got a job right there. So I've never left. I did leave the middle school, but I'm still in Riverton. A position opened at the elementary school for 3rd grade special education. So I took that and moved to the elementary, which was a way better fit for me, in my opinion. Um, I've taught 2, 3, 4 special education. So all the subjects, all the different styles, co-teaching, direct instruction, resource, all of those things. So it gave me a really good experience. I taught for, I think, 10 or 11 years um, before I decided to get my master's.
So
And
what prompted you to do that?
well, if I'm being honest, 100%, my
Move over
focus
on the salary
was
schedule. That's
I
okay.
wanted to move over on the pay scale,
Of course. Of
Um,
course.
the fame and fortune of an elementary school teacher just wasn't working out very well for me.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I wanted to go back, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I thought, let's do admin. That'll give me all different kinds of options. And another cohort had started up, and I just jumped in, and I loved it. I loved all of my classes. I'm a good student.
Yeah.
So I enjoy classes. I enjoy learning and just becoming more of whatever it is I'm doing. And so I finished, and it was crazy because the assistant principal in my building at that time was leaving to take a principalship at the middle school, and he is now my superintendent. And so he and my principal, Jackie Scheffler, they encouraged me to apply. So I did. I was scared to death. Sometimes I'm still scared to death, but I did apply, and here I am.
Yeah.
So 7 years later, I love being an assistant principal. So that's start to finish.
Right. Well, you got to, it's nice to have that little bit of nudge from people that have seen you in action for a bit and know you, trust you, and want to encourage you. So all of that's terrific.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah. So tell me about your school, Jim. What do you got going on at Riverton Elementary right now?
Oh my gosh, there's so much always going on at an elementary school. We are a K or pre-K 4 building, so it's a lot. There's everything going on, and right now, the big push, of course, is looking at our reading curriculum and revamping our processes and thoughts and approach to teaching kids how to read. So that's been um, a big endeavor this year, and it's been hard for some of our teachers, just really set in their ways, and so it's been difficult to navigate that and kind of get them to come around. Some have not, and we're still working and trying with that. But Riverton Elementary is an awesome place to be. We have right now about 540 students. We have 55-ish certified staff and 25 support staff. Um, we're a small district land wise, but we pack a lot of people in. We have really affluent families, and then really many low income families and some, homeless populations. So we've got a wide variety of students. I'm sure other districts resemble that as well. But I think what makes us unique is we are so tiny, and then our population is really transient. So kids are always hopping back and forth from 186 to us or the surrounding smaller community schools. So we've just got people in and out all of the time, and that's, I would say, one of our challenges that we're always trying to navigate.
Yeah, you bet. Well, let me circle back. Interesting that you brought up the topic of reading instruction. That's obviously a very timely topic here in the state of Illinois with the literacy plan just being introduced and all that. And so, I'm just kind of curious, especially, you mentioned how teachers are reacting here to these conversations because as this discussion has taken place, and understandably, I believe there's like reading teachers are really passionate about, maybe more so than any other content area I've seen reading teachers be really passionate about their subject area. And I think that's understandable because it is the basis for everything, that we're doing in our schools. Every test is a reading test. Every bit of instruction deals with reading. I mean, you just go on and on with regards to that. And so, I guess what I'm curious about, Jen, is what was kind of your initial approach to this in terms of introducing this in your school, and what is the process and thinking for all of you as you contemplate this, moving forward?
Well, one thing at a time.
Yeah.
So we were kind of thinking, well, for one, our scores show that we have to make a change. Another piece of that is that we're up for a reading adoption, so that's a push.
Well, good timing
Um,
there then for that.
yes, yes. So
Hmm.
everything is working out, I think, how it should or was supposed to. It's We're just trying to not make rash decisions,
Yeah,
and take our time, although we have that push, like it's our time to buy, let's go.
right.
um, so I think with that, we just started putting nuggets out, and what are you thinking about this? Check out this podcast, check
Hmm.
out this book, here's what we're doing. So this past school year we piloted UFly for explicit phonics instruction. Um, we kept our old comprehension, which is a box curriculum. It's in everything, and so we're kind of breaking reading into pieces, or um, I'm not sure what else to call it right now, but we're breaking reading down and looking at not utilizing a box program for each piece. It may not be, that box program may not be great for phonics instruction or comprehension or whatever other writing pieces you want to look at. So we wanted to use data and do something to help our kids completely different from what we've been doing, because our data has shown for several years that I've been here, our students can't read. Half of them are not performing where they should on the state tests. So, and even in-house measures. So we've got a lot of kids in intervention. We have a lot of interventionists. Um, but what we're doing isn't lasting long term. So that's where we knew we had the data to support our decision to move forward and pilot this new phonics instruction. Many of our teachers did not want to do it. They were against it, kind of like go back to what you were saying about people feel so strongly about which
Yeah.
approach to reading
Yeah.
is correct. And it really depends, I think, on what you learned and what you've done in your classroom. And nobody wants to say, I've been doing it wrong, I've
Right.
harmed students, because that's not why we're here. Every single person is here to help kids.
Yep.
And none of us want to admit that we may have done something wrong.
Well, and I don't even know if it's about doing something wrong. It's just learning
Right,
a better way to go. And
right.
so when
And
we know
no,
better, we do better.
do better.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I
Yeah.
think that's what we're trying to, that's where we're at now. And since they have maybe not bought in, but they've tried it. They at least attempted with UFly, and now we're starting to see some results. And teachers who were really against it at first are maybe now being like, "This isn't so bad. It's
Yeah.
actually pretty easy. All I have to do is what it tells me to do." So that's kind of where we're at now with the phonics piece. And to go forward, we're looking at different programs for comprehension. So we're really excited about it. I'm excited about it. I'm passionate about our kids being able to read. I cannot send them to middle school if they can't read, because we have so much more to do. Once they get there, they need to be pushed further. So,
Well, let me just offer this to encourage you and your team there as you're working through all of this. Um, this is an important topic, for obvious reasons. This is something that has a lot of interest, not just I think in the research community now, but also with policymakers at the state board, obviously, because they've drafted the plan and I think did an exceptional job with it. If people haven't read the literacy plan that the state board put out, it's really a worthwhile read, because it really not only articulates what the research says, but also provides good guidance and thoughts related to how to push this conversation forward. The other thing we got to keep in mind is we have members of the General Assembly that are very interested in this topic and seeing some things happen. And to their credit, the state board has said, before you pass a bill, let us handle this and let us work with the field to move this conversation forward, which is an extremely positive thing, so that districts can handle this and make it happen like you're doing. Because I will tell you, my experience with this is, and I've got a lot of examples of this over the years, that if we as educators in our schools don't choose to take this on, particularly when the data shares with us the things like what you just mentioned, Jen, in your own school. The General Assembly is going to push it for us, and it may not be the approach that we would choose for ourselves. And obviously, we know that one size fits all approach usually is not the best. So it's important that we be engaged and have what can at times be difficult conversations related to what we've been doing with kids and how we understand our approach and maybe choose to do something different moving forward. So just think we got to be encouraged with that, and better for us to be driving those conversations rather than being told exactly what they need to be.
Absolutely. I love
So
that.
so let's get off of that. But I just wanted to go there a bit because it's
Go
such a
down a rabbit
timely
hole.
topic. Yeah, yeah. Well, I know we weren't necessarily planning on talking about the literacy
That's
plan,
okay.
but I'm glad you brought it up because it is important and definitely relevant to what we've got going on right now. So Jen, one of the things I always like to ask, accomplished school leaders like yourself, as we're having these conversations, I mean, just reading through your materials and obviously the things that were said about you through the press and other about your work there in Riverton. I'm just kind of curious about, what is it that you have tapped into for yourself to be successful, to get results, those kinds of things from a leadership perspective. Not everything works for everybody, obviously, but I'm sure some things that people could glean from your experiences and the things that you've done, that might be helpful to them too.
Well, I think what's worked for me is just being a part of it. Um, I'm down to earth. I'm easy to talk to. I'm never out to get anybody. It's like we're here for the kids.
No
That's
drama. I'm hearing
yes,
two
no
things. I'm
drama.
hearing I'm hearing no drama, and I'm hearing be present. Those are the two things I'm hearing as you're speaking
Thanks
there.
for breaking that down for me and
Yeah,
saying, just being blunt about it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm fun, I'm flexible, I want to help people. So I think for, new leaders or people who are thinking about getting into it, in my mind, an administrator was this thing. Um, it's turned out not to be that. I still want to be that, and I'm working towards this person who inspires people and motivates people. But right now, in my role, I've found that just being relatable and part of the team and doing whatever I can to help them is helping me. So I don't know if any of that made sense.
It does. I think.
It makes
Well,
sense in my brain.
well, it does. The third thing I hear is just a service orientation, right? And meeting people's
Yes.
needs and helping them do. As administrators, oftentimes our role is to clear the path and provide the resources and supports so that people can actually get the job done, as much as anything else. So those are the couple of things that I picked up on. And I know it's hard when you have to talk about yourself. I get it.
Yeah, I'm
I know
not very good at that. That's why
things
I'm
are
really good
things
at
that
the assistant principal role.
yeah
Let's stand
yeah
back, do a lot of work,
yeah
and smile.
yeah. I
And
hear
yeah,
you.
I
Yeah,
don't want to be the talker. So I
and it's
appreciate
hard
you
to.
summing that up for me.
No, no. Well, I get it. It's hard to be like, these are the things that make me great. Uh,
Yeah,
Pay attention to this. So
totally.
I understand. But one last thing, Jen, I do like to again cover in these conversations is, school leadership definitely has not gotten any easier.
No.
We've worked through some extremely hard things over these last several years. Some of them extremely obvious, and other things that kind of have creeped up on us here, or been the result of the other hard things that we've done. Student mental health and student behavior, and trying to help kind of parents reestablish, working with them to kind of reestablish the norms for what needs to be happening in schools, for their kids. So that requires for us to be sure that we are taking care of ourselves, obviously, and being sustained in the position. And I'm just kind of curious for yourself, what do you do to make sure that you are sustained and doing this job? Because you've done it, what now? You said 7 years. So
But yep, this is
uh,
my seventh year.
yeah, so that's a good stretch within a position. You have beat the
The
statistic.
odds.
You're an anomaly. Yeah, I mean, What I tell people, this the statistics mostly for principals, but I think it holds true probably for APs, maybe even more so, because the AP role sometimes is a launching point to the principalship, obviously, but also because your work can be a real grind. What I find fascinating and so have so much respect for assistant principals, you guys could have like every type of job description imaginable. You talked about curriculum and instruction with reading, but I know that you're dealing with attendance and student discipline and
Yeah, that's actually
parental
what I'm in
relationship.
charge of.
Yeah, right, right. So you have that to deal with, and those things are hard. Those things are not easy. So, what are you doing to be sustained in your role?
Well, I try to keep myself as healthy as possible. Um, that's tough when you're busy and a mom and everything, or a parent, not just a mom and dad. Whatever. I mean, the health thing is the health thing. You have to take care of yourself. It's very important. I've learned that, especially in this role. I've tried to put myself first a little bit. I make sure to spend time with kids, hopefully every day, if not as much as I can. Get out to recess, get to the lunchroom, get wherever I can to just hang out with kids because they're the best part of all of this. Um, I think like I want to do better each day, just a little bit better every single day. And then maybe we'll get to where we want to be. Other things that keep me coming to work or have helped me just stay here are my coworkers. I think the people you work with really, if you don't work with fun, great people, you don't
Yeah,
really want to come to work. And I do. I kind of coined the term RES is the best. It's our little in-house motto. And it really is. And it's the people, it's our office staff, the kid, it's just everyone. I really do love RES. And then I think you have to find humor in everything. I think laugh or you'll cry, kind of
yeah,
mentality sometimes. And you just have to have fun. And then IPA has helped me as well. I appreciate and have learned so much from just being involved and a part of things. So the school leader network was great. I'd love to do it again. And just, every time you hear something, you're just gaining a little bit more, or you took something away you didn't the first time. So I'd love to do that again. I enjoy like the plugging in and breaking out sessions when I can actually hop on and
yeah,
participate. Those are a great opportunity. And yeah, IPA has been great. It's allowed me to make connections with people like me in similar roles. The AP can be a lonely job.
yeah.
Um, and I've got to make connections with other people. I can bounce ideas. Hey, what are you doing about this? What are you doing about that? And they're not in Riverton. I've only ever been here, so it's great to have other perspectives from people who are doing the same thing I'm doing, but in different areas and with different people. So figuring out how to tackle new challenges. So that's great. Just the networking. Um, so yeah, I think those are the main things.
Yeah, yeah. Well, appreciate that. Appreciate you spending a little time here with me, Jen, and just want to offer up congratulations again for being
Thank
named
you.
Assistant Principal of the Year. It's outstanding. It's well
Thank you.
deserved.
I still can't believe it. It's great.
Yeah, yeah, you bet. Well, thanks again, Jen Carter, who is the Assistant Principal of the Year for the state of Illinois and Assistant Principal at Riverton Elementary School. It's a lovely school. Actually, I've been there since Jen, since your principal Jackie Schiffler is on the board of directors here at
Yes.
IPA, I have an opportunity to get in and visit, tour your school, which is really great. But if thanks for joining us for this IPA talk. As always, if there's anything that IPA can do, don't hesitate to give us a call or check us out on the web at ilprinciples.org. Take care.